Have you ever stopped to wonder why some men seem naturally pulled towards certain women, as if something invisible draws them in, while others go completely unnoticed? The reason isn't just about looks. There's something more powerful at play, something deeper, more mysterious. Something renowned psychologist Carl Jung discovered in his studies of the male unconscious mind. And today, I'm going to share with you what most women have never even heard. 6 psychological keys that unlock intense, almost uncontrollable desire inside a man. This isn't some shallow list of tricks. This is the real stuff, raw, emotional, and buried deep inside a man's mind. This knowledge has been kept in shadows for years. Many believed it was too powerful, too sensitive to be revealed to everyone. But just imagine what it would feel like to awaken such strong attraction in the man you secretly want. No fake games. No worn-out seduction moves. It's the magic that happens when you connect with the hidden parts of him, parts even he doesn't always understand. So one of my clients, Mariana, had been divorced for 5 years. At 47, she told me she had accepted that passion and connection were behind her. She felt invisible to men, like her time had passed. But everything shifted when she applied just 2 of the 6 insights I'm going to share. Not only did she catch the attention of a man who once barely noticed her, but she also woke up something powerful in him, a devotion, a loyalty, a fire that she never expected to feel again. What I'm about to share goes far deeper than perfume or pretty words or matching lingerie. It's not about trying to be someone you're not. It's about becoming the woman who resonates with something inside him, something he can't explain but can't resist, because men are drawn not only by what they see, but by what they feel around certain women. Their desire isn't random. It's symbolic. It's tied to ancient parts of the mind that Jung spent his life exploring. These secrets weren't found in typical books. They were buried in Jung's personal journals, recently translated and only studied by a few researchers with deep interest in human desire and emotional patterns. What we found there changed everything we thought we knew about what pulls a man toward a woman, not just for a night, but in a way that rewires his whole system. But I have to be honest, this isn't light knowledge. This isn't something to use carelessly. When you learn to activate these hidden triggers inside a man, you hold something rare in your hands. You hold influence over the parts of him that control how he bonds, how he desires, how he stays. And if you use it with heart, with care, it doesn't just shift his behavior, it transforms the way he sees you. It changes how he feels in your presence, in your touch, in your voice. And it may change how he loves you. So ask yourself, are you truly ready to go beyond surface level interactions? Are you willing to stop settling for half-hearted connections or lukewarm relationships and instead step into a space where you speak directly to his soul? Are you ready to become unforgettable? Not because you tried harder, but because you understood something no one else did. If the answer is yes, then stay with me. These next few minutes may shape how men respond to you from this day forward. What Jung discovered wasn't accepted easily. He was criticized by many who feared what such knowledge could do if used wrongly. But he also believed that the right person, one with compassion and depth, could change lives with it. The first key to unlocking a man's deep sexual desire is connected to something Jung called the shadow. The shadow is the part of a person they keep hidden, the things they don't talk about, the feelings they suppress, the sides they've been taught to deny. And here's what most women don't know. When you become the one who makes space for his shadow without judgment or fear, you don't just gain his respect. You stir something intense inside him, something that feels sacred. Have you ever seen a man melt, not because you touched him, but because he felt seen by you in a way that no one else ever made him feel? That's not an accident. That's the power of this first secret. From the time boys are young, they're told to be strong, be tough, don't cry, don't break. And so they carry around this pressure quietly, silently, always feeling like they have to hold it all together. But when you become the woman who lets him breathe, who lets him soften, even for a moment, you don't weaken him, you free him. And in that freedom, something fierce and passionate wakes up. He doesn't just want to touch you, he wants to protect you, cherish you, be better for you. Not because he has to, but because he chooses to. The way you awaken this part of him isn't with big speeches or therapy talk. It's through simple, full presence. Looking him in the eye when he speaks, noticing what he's not saying, holding silence without needing to fill it, being strong enough to let him be vulnerable around you. That presence, it speaks louder than words, and he feels it. The second powerful insight Jung offered is the dance with what he called the anima. Every man carries within his mind a deep personal image of the feminine. It's not just about body shape or face. It's emotional, spiritual, symbolic, and it changes as he grows and experiences life. But here's the secret. When a woman taps into and reflects that image naturally, not through acting, it creates a powerful magnetic pull. You're not pretending to be someone else. You're connecting with the essence of who you are and expressing it in a way that reflects his inner feminine ideal. It's like speaking a secret language only his soul understands. And when you do that, he feels it in his body. So how do you do it? Start noticing what sides of your femininity make him come alive. Does he lean in when you're soft, calm, and nurturing? Does he light up when you're wild, playful, and free? Or maybe he responds to your strength, your confidence, your independence. These are not roles. They're different shades of who you are. And when you tune into which ones stir him and let them shine without forcing anything, something inside him responds with hunger, respect, and deep desire. One of my clients, Christina, was 53 when she met a man who had always seen her as nice but nothing more. She kept trying to win him over with practical support, logic, and care, but none of it reached him. Until she let go of all that and allowed herself to be more in tune with her intuition, more mysterious, more emotionally present. She didn't chase him. She didn't perform. She simply allowed herself to show up differently, and suddenly he couldn't take his eyes off her, and mystery to rise through her presence. What happened next was a complete shift in the way her partner responded to her. The man who had once looked at her with tired eyes began to see her all over again, with new wonder, with a renewed fire. That's the power of contrast. Not confusion, but complexity. The richness that keeps him coming back, not because you shocked him, but because you surprised his soul. The third secret Jung uncovered in his most private writings is what he called the alchemy of contrast. This may be one of the most misunderstood forces in desire because it completely flips what we've been taught about attraction. We've been told to be consistent, steady, one thing or the other. But that's not what lights up a man's inner world. The male psyche doesn't crave sameness. It's stirred by dynamic contrast, opposing traits woven together in one woman. Men aren't deeply drawn to a woman who is always gentle or always strong. Instead, what calls out to something primal in him is a woman who holds both. A woman who can be soft and powerful, calm yet wild, nurturing yet independent. When you hold opposites inside you and let them shine naturally, you become a living paradox. And that, to the male unconscious, is irresistible. This is why so many relationships start with intensity but lose their spark. The woman becomes predictable, the energy goes flat, and the contrast, the unknown, the unexpected, vanishes. Jung believed male desire remains alive when he feels this continuous discovery. That's what the union of opposites gives him. He feels like he's always learning new parts of you. He feels intrigued again, alert, alive, and that keeps the desire burning. You don't need to change who you are. You simply allow more of you to show. You don't hide your softness to appear strong, and you don't downplay your fire to be lovable. You hold both. That's what captivates a man. Not perfection, but emotional depth. And it doesn't just spark his desire, it makes him feel he's with someone who challenges and balances him. One woman I work with, Elena, age 42, had been married for 15 years. Her marriage had faded into routine. She felt like roommates with her husband, safe, polite, but disconnected. She realized she'd flattened herself into the role of the reliable, practical wife. But there was more to her. She began expressing her sensuality again, reconnecting with her inner wildness, letting her spiritual side be seen, and something shifted. Her husband, who had become distant, started watching her again, touching her again, talking to her like she mattered. He was falling in love all over again, not with someone new, but with the version of her he had long forgotten. Those first 3 secrets already opened the door to something rare and life-changing. But now we step into the part of Jung's work that few people ever talk about. The boldest, deepest, most transformative truths he uncovered about how men love, and why some women are never forgotten. These next insights explain why some men carry the memory of a woman for decades, why he dreams of her, misses her, compares others to her, even if they haven't spoken in years. It's not just about chemistry, it's about what she touched inside him, what she awakened. Jung's 4th secret is perhaps the most powerful. It's the resonance with the inner hero. Every man, no matter how quiet or humble he appears, carries deep inside a longing to be heroic, not in the loud, performative way, but in a soul-level way. It's a quiet need to be someone of purpose, someone who protects, who creates, who makes an impact. This isn't just about ego. It's not about being praised or rewarded. It's a deep drive inside him to rise, to matter. And when a woman sees this in him, honors it, and gives space for it to breathe, she doesn't just make him feel good. She activates something profound, something he didn't even know was waiting to come alive. This doesn't mean pretending to be helpless so he can feel needed. That's not respect, it's performance. What actually touches his inner hero is being truly seen. When you reflect back his specific heroic qualities, his loyalty, his work ethic, his ability to lead, to protect, to hold space, you show him who he really is. You show him his impact. And in doing that, you give him the gift of being witnessed in a way most men never experience. When a man feels seen like that, he doesn't just admire you, he adores you, because he sees himself through your eyes and wants to rise even higher, not out of pressure, out of devotion. Tiana, a woman I worked with at 58, applied this with her long-term partner. For years, she had pointed out his flaws, thinking that would inspire growth, but instead it made him close off. So she shifted. She began to truly notice his heroic traits, his perseverance, his steady love for his children, his commitment to growing even when no one noticed. She didn't flatter him. She simply appreciated what was already there. And what happened? He began to come alive again. Not just for himself, but for her. He started holding her differently, looking at her like she was the one who had saved him from becoming numb. And that's what this 4th trigger does. It brings out the best in him and ties that best to you. Jung believed this trigger was so powerful, it had to be used with care, because once a man feels seen in this sacred way, he doesn't just feel desire, he feels bonded, loyal, emotionally claimed. It becomes something more than romance, it becomes soul memory. And now we come to the 5th truth, a revelation that changes everything you thought you knew about male sexuality. Jung called it the portal to the transcendent. So many believe that male desire is purely physical, rooted in release, in surface attraction. But Jung's research showed something deeper, that the masculine spirit is, at its core, seeking something holy. He may not have the words for it, but he feels it, a longing for union, for something bigger than himself, for a moment when all boundaries melt and time disappears. And when he encounters a woman who holds that energy, not just in her body, but in her presence, he doesn't just desire her. He surrenders to something beyond logic. This doesn't mean you have to act like a goddess or say spiritual words. It means coming home to your body as sacred. It means letting your sensuality rise not as performance, but as expression. It means breathing fully, feeling deeply, being so present in your pleasure that you become a mirror for the divine feminine. His presence becomes a doorway. And when he enters that space with you, not just physically, but emotionally, energetically, something inside him wakes up. Not just lust, but reverence. One of the most common questions I hear when I share these insights is, but isn't this manipulation? And the answer is a clear and unwavering no. Manipulation involves dishonesty, control, and taking someone's freedom away. What Jung discovered were not tricks or tactics. They were deep psychological truths about connection, rooted in genuine respect for both the masculine and the feminine. These aren't tools to play games. They're ways to invite truth, depth, and love into your life and relationships. When you reflect a man's inner hero back to him, you're not pretending, you're not trying to fool him with fake admiration. You're learning to truly recognize and value the parts of him that long to be seen. It's not control, it's expanded awareness. It's looking at him with fresh eyes and choosing to honor the strength, courage, or purpose that already lives within him. The same goes for becoming a portal to the transcendent. This isn't about using sensuality to trap or manipulate him into staying. It's about reconnecting with the sacred part of your own sexual energy. When you fully embody that space, without trying to perform or impress, you naturally create a connection where both of you can meet in something bigger than words. You're not making him dependent. You're inviting both of you into a moment of wholeness. And this, like any deep transformation, is not a one-time shift. It's a path. It begins with awareness, truly looking at how you've shown up in relationships. What parts of your femininity have you allowed to shine freely? Which parts have you hidden, thinking they were too much or not enough? Have you found yourself repeating the same emotional patterns with different men, never understanding why? The next step is self-acceptance. Not fixing or editing yourself, but holding every part of you with compassion. Your softness and your fire, your longing and your independence, your tenderness and your strength. These are not flaws or contradictions. They are the full expression of who you are. And when you stop apologizing for that, something beautiful begins to happen. Your energy changes and people feel it. Then comes conscious practice. Let these principles show up in small ways, not as strategies, but as expressions of your truth. Notice how different aspects of your feminine nature affect the way men respond. Don't judge or force it. Just observe. Adjust not to manipulate, but to deepen your connection with yourself and with others. One of my clients, Patricia, was 38 when she began keeping a private journal. In it, she tracked how different parts of herself, her emotional openness, her playfulness, her confidence, shifted the dynamics in her conversations and relationships. This simple act of reflection allowed her to break out of old cycles that had kept her stuck for years. She didn't become someone else. She became more of who she really was. And that changed everything. Here's the truth that most women never fully realize. Your ability to awaken a man's desire is only the surface. The real power lies deeper. It's the ability to open his heart, to reach his soul, and to offer a connection that changes him, not through control, but through presence. And when you integrate Jung's 6 forgotten principles into your life, you're not just becoming more attractive, you're stepping into something ancient, something powerful, something sacred. This isn't just about how men see you, it's about how you begin to see yourself. Women who do this work often notice change everywhere, not just in their romantic lives, but in their purpose, their energy, their creativity, their families, even their career paths, as if something inside them reawakens. And in doing so, life begins to flow more easily. That's what happens when we reconnect with our true nature. As we stop chasing, we start attracting. This is the deeper purpose behind these teachings. Jung wasn't just writing about sex or romance. He was giving us a map back to ourselves, a way for women to reconnect with the wisdom carried by generations of feminine power, hidden away for too long. When you touch that power, it doesn't just change one relationship. It shifts everything. But there is a responsibility here. These truths are powerful. They move the soul. And when you begin working with these principles, you will stir deep places in the men around you. You may awaken not only love and longing, but also wounds, fears, and forgotten emotions. And that's not something to take lightly.